Good afternoon, Kevin. Thank you for being here.
I'm delighted to be here. I'm always excited to talk about my city.
Perfect. And you know what? I live in your city. So here to learn more about you and what's happening and what's exciting for Pickering.
Well, we just turned the calendar to 2025, and I'm really excited about our future. We're having success in terms of growth of our residential buildings, job creation. We're creating a real energy in the city, our waterfront, our casino, tourism, and the like. So lots of things going in our directions.
Perfect. So let's get into asking about yourself personally.
Sure.
So what gets into politics and what get into helping the community, what helping to the public services? What inspires you? It's a big commitment.
Yeah, no, it is a big commitment, but I've lived it in my life, all my life. This is the 51st year of going from a township to a town. I'm the 5th mayor. My dad was the first mayor.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, 1974. So it's a family business.
So it runs in the runs in the blood.
So when my dad was mayor, I was 12 years old. So that was 50 years ago. I'm 62 now. So I kind of grew up in terms of an expectation of public service. I was elected as a school trustee at a very young age when I was 23. Did that for 12 years. And I've been on council now for 18 years. So I've saw this community grow from a true bedroom community that had cottages down where you live in the Fairport Beach to a city that's vibrant, growing, diverse housing choices. And, we do have a diverse workforce as well. So I've seen it from a little town. We're sitting just north of 401. Right here used to be the TP Drive, and across the street. There was no buildings here. The mall wasn't here. That's behind us today. So I've seen a big changes that I think for the better.
So you probably went to school. You probably grew up in Pickering.
I did.
Share some memories if you don't mind.
Yeah, I went to school right here down on Liverpool Road. It's called Holy Redeemer. It's gone now.
It's gone, okay.
It's now townhouses, but went there from kindergarten right through to grade 8. Back when I went to high school in the late 70s, there was no Catholic high school here in Pickering. There's now one on Waits Road called St. Mary's, which is where my kids went. But I used to take the bus every day to Whitby, to Dennis O'Connor High School.
Oh, wow,
that's where I went. Yeah, that's where.
And how was the busing back then, transportation?
Well, we got on the yellow bus and did our thing.
Oh, okay, so it's a school bus.
It was a school bus back then, so. That's where I went. So I was fortunate enough to have many friends from across Durham, just because the nature of
going
education
to school
back
Whitby,
there.
yeah.
That's right. So I've lived here 57 of my 62 years. So we moved here when I was 5 years old.
Got it. So it's a significant changes, like over the 57 years.
Absolutely. There was really nothing north of the highway except farms. The mansion restaurant was the old Liverpool House.
Yeah.
Liverpool.
And they had a different name before that.
It was. It used to be a stagecoach kind of place for people to as they journeyed east to Kingston and Ottawa. So there's been a lot of changes here. We've grown up as from a township to a town, now to a city. 2025 is the 25th anniversary of us becoming a city on January 1st, 2000, which was the millennium.
Congratulations.
And if we all remember back to those days, we weren't sure if the world was going to explode that day, and because of Y2K. I know some guys in this room are
probably not born.
are too young to remember that.
Or not born.
But or not born. But you and I remember that.
So what has not changed over the last 50 plus years you are living in Pickering? What is still there, like as a milestone, as a memory? Like what can you refer to? What's still out there?
Couple things that pop up in my mind. One, although we've grown to a city of 114,000, there's still a sense of community here. We have distinct neighborhoods: West Shore, East Shore, Fairport Beach, Dumbarton, Claremont, Brome. We have the nuclear station that remains part of our culture, and I'd like to talk about the renewal of that culture. And our Frenchman's Bay has been here the whole time. It has a great history in our city, and now it's become a real gathering place for families, and become a real gathering place for people to celebrates some of the cultural things that are happening in our city, and the restaurants, cafes, and the like. So those are things that haven't changed. Since 50
the
years.
culture haven't changed.
That's right. That's right.
The comedy sense of comedy has not
That's right.
changed. So tell me how you balance your family life and commitment to the community. Like, how do you balance it, Kevin? And it's a big commitment, because when we are in business, when we commit, there's a financial reward. When someone is committing their personal life to the community, more than a financial reward, is something you have a passion to. Like, how do you balance and how do you keep it going?
Well, I have a very understanding wife and family who kind of, similar to me, they kind of grew up in it.
Like how you grew up with your dad.
That's right. My kids, their grandfather was my father, who's now been passed for 10 years. But they saw how much he gave to the community. I've been involved in politics before I had kids. So my kids are now 32 and 29.
So they kind of cloned to it.
Yeah, they understand that. And I really enjoy doing the things I do. Going to different Sunday services every week, going to many cultural events. We're a very diverse city. I go to a lot of business openings as well. And I'm honored to be the mayor, so I don't look at it as a burden at all. And I kind of like to travel, so when I do have some downtime, I do get away. And my sport of choice is golf. So.
Golf. We talked about it a few times.
Yeah.
So Kevin, I love the Frenchman Bay. I'm glad you brought it up. And I have a property in Frenchman Bay, and my parents live by the Frenchman Bay. There's a big thing happening in Frenchman Bay. There's a big construction going on.
Right.
Can you comment on what's happening in Frenchman Bay?
Well, the
if that is okay.
Absolutely. We're trying to buy the bay. The bay is in private ownership, has been since before Confederation, by the Pickering Harbor Company, and we're in the final discussion points about buying the bay and having it back in public ownership. We're trying to partner with the federal government and the provincial government to be equal funding partners to buy the bay. And the reason we want to buy the bay is to really have it as a legacy for future generations. We don't necessarily need condos down at the base of East Shore. Where you live on the West Shore, it's a very natural place, and people really enjoy it. So we want to buy the bay, the city does, to protect it from development, but also to be able to put more kind of features down there in terms of making it a year-round gathering place, maybe an amphitheater and more cafes and the like. But I really think it's a great opportunity to bring it back into public ownership and to protect it for generations to come.
But there's some kind of construction still happening along I think the
Yes, we're spending about $11 million on the East Shore, which is at the base of Liverpool Road. There is a boardwalk which, because of climate change, has been washed away, so we're rebuilding that. So it'll be a place where people can go from what's called Millennium Square at the base of Liverpool Road all the way out to Sandy Beach Road, where the Pickering Nuclear Station is. We've already completed the West Shore community, where we've put a bathroom as well as redid our harbor entrance. So we're trying to kind of modernize the east side with because that's where the people are and the businesses are, and the west side is more natural. So we think it's a great balance.
Great balance. Honestly, my parents live in the Frenchman Bay and I live in the West Shore. Frenchman Bay is like a more entertainment and fun place, and West Shore is very nice and quiet.
Right.
But I appreciate what the city has done with the reconstruction. It's amazing to go for a walk.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Like the washrooms that really help, and it gathers a lot of people. It gathers a community together.
Yeah.
Every day I can see, like in the summertime, it's packed.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw that during COVID. Our waterfront became a gathering place for all kinds of, not only our residents, but non-residents, almost overburdened it. So that's why we went with a parking system that allowed free parking for our residents, but you paid parking for visitors to our city. And we, again, trying to have a balance of people having enjoyment on it. And, I like going down to the East Spit and maybe getting an ice cream cone,
Yeah.
or the French fries at the French fry truck, which are fantastic. Highly recommend them. But there's things else to do. There's the beautiful port restaurant with one of the most spectacular viewing places in all Ontario on the waterfront. To have
And
a
the
cold
other one is
beverage.
getting rebuilt as well. The
Yeah,
one at the end.
yeah. There's lots going on.
I have a question. Why there's no bridge in between both lighthouses?
We've looked at that. Different options. You know, we have to keep the bay open. So we're looking at, we were looking at maybe a moving, self-moving barge back and forth. The bridge itself would have to have a long span because it would have to be accessible. So we haven't closed our mind to connecting them two.
Okay.
But it's something that's not in our immediate future. But it's something that I think in the long term would be a fantastic addition to connect the two.
Trust me, it'll be nice to walk over,
Yeah.
have a drink at port, and walk back home.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely true.
So the biggest stigma when it's come to Pickering for residents moving, especially I'm in the business I'm in, nuclear plant.
Yep.
So what I'm sure everyone like to hear about what's happening with Ontario power generation and what the future is going to be like.
Sure. January 30th last year, 2024, the then Minister of Energy announced the plans to refurbish Pickering Nuclear. It's one of the oldest nuclear stations in Canada, but one of the most highly efficient and the safest CANDU reactors are safe. Units 1, 2, 3, 4 are now closed officially. The most recent two units 3 and 4 closed. And units 5, 6, 7, 8 will be closing over the course of the next 2 years. And then there'll be a 5 to 7 year refurbishment of the plant, so that when we are redone that plant, there's going to be thousands of workers down there every year, every day. We're going to be having enough power to generate power for 2 million homes in Ontario. It's going to add $19.4 billion to the GDP of Ontario. And although nuclear power in the past has had some mixed reviews, it is clean, carbon-free energy. And, Durham with Darlington and Pickering is the clean energy capital of North America. And they've been a great partner. And I look forward to that continuation. They're our largest employer, about 4,500 jobs. And the continuation and presence in our city is welcome.
Because how do you address the stigma for people to move in? Like, I don't want to move in where the nuclear plant is.
Well, I think
it's got better over the years.
Yeah, I think.
But in the past 10, 15 years back, that was the biggest challenge for people.
I literally grew up in the shadow of the plant, and some people, when they think of nuclear power, they think of Homer Simpson, and that incompetence. But OPG is a professional company. It has a stellar safety record. With kind of one exception when we had a false alarm. Yeah. But we do have safeguard over safeguard over safeguard in terms of vacuum rooms, alerting systems, radiation pills, the tests of our speaker system, all those types of things that make it a safe place. And there's never been a major incident. And there's been no release of radiation. So again, I have no qualms about it. I talk about the financial benefit of nuclear power, all the jobs that it brings, the supply chain up and down Brock Road. And the other thing about nuclear power that people don't realize is the medical isotopes are used to treat people with cancer. So nuclear power is actually saving people's lives. And when it's refurbished, we're actually going to be able to harvest those isotopes in a more efficient manner and save more people's lives. So there's a good story to be told. And that old stigma about Homer Simpson and nuclear power, I think, is 70s and 80s, and we're now in the 2000s.
Yeah. So tell me what's the future at the Pickering Town Center? There's a lot of construction going on. There's a lot of condos coming up. Where do you see we don't have a downtown in Pickering.
Right.
So you think that is going to be more like a downtown?
Absolutely. The Center Court, along with Cowie Capital and Salt Hill, have partnered to put together a 55-acre master plan community on the site of Pickering Town Center. The old Sears wings down. The first 2 towers of residential buildings, the permits have been pulled. So we'll start construction on the first 2 of 8 or 10 towers. We're also looking at having a hotel there and an office building. So one of the things that I'm really excited about is an urban park directly across from City Hall. Envision Nathan Phillips Square with its water feature in the summer, its refrigerated ice rink in the winter. That'll be right here in Pickering as well. And that'll be open hopefully for the skating season of 2026. And it's being rebranded.
That's not too far away.
That's not too far away. About 22 months or so. And the Pickering Town Center's now been rebranded to the Shops at Pickering City Center.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And some great new stores have been included. JD Sports, Lululemon, the makeup one, Sephora is coming apparently too.
I had asked my wife on that.
Yeah. The ladies will be happy when that comes in. And I had an opportunity to meet with the mall ownership, and they're excited about the future. And there's a new energy. December was a record month for them. Christmas, obviously, but
compared to the previous years.
Yes, but there's some energy back in that mall.
Perfect. Well, how this is going to impact in the traffic and transportation? You think it's going to clog down the 401, these condos?
Well, I think we have to be mindful that our road system is congested. I acknowledge that. So when we build new residential units, we have to do so in a smart manner. And I think building along Kingston Road is the way to go, because we're going to have the bus rapid transit system that will go all the way from Scarborough to Oshawa, dedicated bus lanes in the short term on the outside, in the long term in the median of Highway 2. A number of the people that are buying condos in our city center area, they're selling less than 0.4 parking spots per unit. So what that tells me is those are commuters that'll jump on the GO train, don't need a car, or first-time buyers. Young people don't want to spend $50,000 on a car and then $50,000 on a parking lot. That's a lot of Ubers, and a lot of rental cars and a lot of bus passes. So we have to be mindful that congestion's kind of a part of life, but we got to make the transit system work for people and make it a real option for people to get them out of a car. The city center area is going to be very vibrant with the restaurants there. There's Farm Boy in the mall. There's the Loblaws, all within, and our cinemas there.
It's pretty much everything's in walking distance.
Yeah, absolutely. Dentist, we're here today in a lawyer's office. So people talk about a 15-minute city, and that's an ideal that I think we should all be working for, to keep connected and get everything we need within a place that doesn't necessarily has us getting in a car and driving somewhere.
Okay, so it's more like a downtown vibe.
Right.
Do you see a future of opening up an exit in Liverpool on the west side?
Well, I'd love for MTO to consider it. What happened back in the 80s, when they opened White's Road, they closed Liverpool Road. But I think, I'd like to get another exit here in our city, maybe even at the casino area. But we do have backups at White's Road and backups at Brock Road. And the good news is that the government is committed to widening that road. And with the widening, maybe there's an opportunity to re-engineer and get some other exits, but we certainly need them. We're a city now of 114,000, and that's growing. Every day we get new residents moving in here. So I'll be working with Minister Bethenfalvey about more infrastructure for our roads. We've been working with
MTO.
MPP Bethenfalvey, but also Councillor McKilvey just across the river about York's Taunton Steeles, getting that widened.
Oh, that's a hot spot for the traffic jam.
So, we have 4 lanes or 6 lanes in Durham, and it goes down to 2. So there's a working group that's been formed in Toronto. So I'm excited about that opportunity. We've called out the city government of Toronto to make sure that they've, to the extent possible, correct the shortcomings in the bridge, which is in the Rouge River. That's currently closed, has been for several months now, but that's a way for some of our residents to get between here and westbound to Toronto. So I've asked them to look at options for that. So we have to keep up, but we have to do it in a responsible, orderly manner.
Got it. So let's talk about the casino. Like, I understand it's creating a lot of employment, and where you see that and how that has added value to the city and how it's going to continue to add value to the city of Pickering.
Yeah, that casino opened in July of 2021, and it's been a fantastic addition to our city. We make about $16 million a year for the city in a hosting fee. So it also includes employment and
Significant employments, I would say.
significant employment. They're good jobs too. They're union jobs. They're unionized with Unifor. So they're not McJobs as we call them, but they're good jobs. And I'm really excited about it. A, for the money that we get, which allows us to invest in infrastructure, but also, people don't have to go down to Toronto to get their fill of entertainment.
Yeah.
Now. They can go to a show. I know there's a show coming in June. I've bought tickets to go see ZZ Top.
There you
Who
go.
would think that ZZ Top would
going to be in Pickering.
Be in Pickering. Brian Adams played in Pickering. Jan Arden played in Pickering. It's amazing what it's doing.
The only choices were Niagara Falls and Toronto.
That's right. So also, it's a 5-star hotel. So we get a lot of hockey teams. You go there on a weekend, you'll see the kids bringing their hockey bags in. The parents have the beauty of having this beautiful hotel, gaming, food, pool options, all those things. So I'm excited about the future. The Porsche experience is going to open in the spring.
Spring of this 2025?
Yeah, that's $80 million investment by Porsche Canada to have the Porsche experience. One of only 10 in the world, 3 in North America. Launchpad Golf is going through rezoning to allow a golf facility there, and the Apostolopoulos family has plans for a retail and a kind of a restaurant row as well. So we're not done there, and there's also
It's continued to grow.
That's right. There's also 1,600 units of housing has been approved there in condos, and the most important thing of that $16 million that we get, it funds my mayor's budget for community grants, and we gave out over $500,000 to community groups, our food bank, our Legion, et cetera, all kinds of service clubs, our Rotary Club for the help offset the cost of rib house. All that money is funded through our community grants that come from the casino money. So it's not from the property tax base.
Okay, so the next leads into the question. So we had some post up, and a lot of Pickering residents' question is, what's your plan to lower the property taxes? Everyone's finding the property taxes a little bit higher compared to maybe Toronto.
Yep.
So how these projects you have in place is going to help with the property taxes?
Well, it'd be nice, but foolhardy for me to suggest your property taxes are going to go down. So I want to be honest about that.
Yeah, that's
What I am attempting to do is bring them within the rate of inflation. Since the Strong Mayor's Power was introduced 2 years ago, the budgets in the city of Pickering were 3.99. 2025 is 3.75, and next year will even be lower. My goal as mayor is to be the jobs mayor. We have much too high reliance on our income stream from residential tax base, and we need to bring in more businesses. That is why Toronto,
that's already on track to do that.
and that's why Toronto's taxes are so low in comparison. They get 60% from the residential, 40% from the business. Ours is about 87% from residential and about 13% from business. So we need more businesses, and we're having success there. We're opening up new businesses all the time. 407 corridor, the innovation corridor. We're about to have, we have Kubota's head office there. FGF Food, the old Weston Food, is building 10 buildings there. It's going to do all their baking for Starbucks for all of North America. So there's lots happening in the city, but the key to maintaining our tax base and affordable taxes is bringing in more business, and that's my chief goal.
And you're already working on that by
Absolutely.
doing all these big projects.
And I go to, I'll meet with anyone who wants to invest in my city. I go to trade shows all around the world talking about the value proposition of Pickering. There is, relatively affordable land as compared to other parts in the GTA. We have a diverse workforce, a great workforce as well. We're a very diverse community. We're a welcoming community. And I think we have a great story to be told, and I like telling it.
And also, we are situated closer to Toronto. Like we are the first city right after Toronto.
Absolutely. We're within kilometers of, or 2 hours of something like 20 million people, and that's a remarkable opportunity. We have relatively low land prices, and compared to Mississauga, Markham, Toronto, we're right on the 401, 407. So there's an opportunity there to have people invest in our city.
And that leads into the schooling, Kevin. New Seaton is growing.
Yep.
I think that's one of the biggest subdivision in Canada, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
in Ontario?
Seaton is one of the fastest growing areas. It's going to be a community of 50,000 people. We're probably only about 15,000 at this point. So there's going to be growth. In the fall economic statement, there was a school announced in it by Minister Bethenfalvy, who's the MPP for this area. We're trying to rehabilitate our old work center up on Brock Road into a school site, where hopefully we'll have the...
What's going on with that? Like, I used to live in the neighborhood, and
Yeah.
that's been a long overdue of this.
Yeah, there was some contamination of salt, and...
because of the workstation.
That's right. And if you're ever going to have contamination, salt's the one to do. But, kids are going to be there, so we have to make sure it's safe. So we've been doing some other testing. And we think we'll get clearance very shortly, which will allow the school board to continue the process of planning for school. Because we weren't...
So that was a holdback.
Yeah, the environmental clearance was not given in time. But I'm hopeful that the Durham District School Board will again purchase that site. It's in their plans, and Minister Bethenfalvy wants to fund it too. So he'd love to cut the ribbon, I'm sure.
That's awesome. And what's a commercial, like how the commercial looks like for the Seaton? Because right now there's only one commercial, it's right on Brock and Roseland. But Seaton has gone almost north of 407. So is there any plans for the commercial?
Yeah, absolutely. Along Taunton Road, there's 2 commercial plazas in the works. One of the first tenants is going to be the city, because we have an absence of programming space. So, when there's a plaza up there, we're going to be getting some space to do some programming for the people of Seaton. So that's I would think we'll start construction this year. And
that you're referring to the community center?
No, I'm talking about the plaza. Because the community center in Seaton, which will be the largest project in our history, won't be available to 2028. So that's why we need some interim facilities, maybe some library space, place for programming, kids drop in, that kind of stuff.
Exciting. So that's kind of solves the
need. We need. You can't even go and get a loaf of bread and a quart of milk up there right now. So,
absolutely.
You got to get in your car, and that's exactly what I was just trying to argue not to do. Yeah. So when we have these plazas up there, I think they'll be well serviced to the community.
Within the community.
That's right, and right on Taunton Road, so there'll be people going back and forth that are going through our city to go eastbound and vice versa. And I think they'll get some great stores up there. So I'm excited about that.
Kevin, where do you see how Pickering can help the housing affordable for first-time home buyers? Where there's a lot of families are coming in here. There's a generation of families here. The kids wants to stay in Pickering. What you have any plans in place to get the housing affordable for the younger generations?
Well, I think that's the question of our lifetime. I have 4 kids. I lost a child, but I have 3 kids that one rents, and two of my daughters live with us. So, and they're in their 30s. So it's really the question of our lifetime about affordability and how we get people to stay in our community and buy housing. We do it a couple ways. One is give people a choice in housing. We need starter homes. We need, people always say, we have too many condos, we have too many condos. The reality is
That's
the
the future.
condo is often an entry into the home ownership marketplace. And it's an exit from the marketplace for seniors who want to stay and age in their community, but don't need the burden of a $10,000 tax bill and cutting their lawn and the like. So we have to have a mix of housing. And that means condos, it means townhouses, it means stacks, it means bungalows. People want bungalows now.
Okay.
But also, if you go up to Claremont, Geranium Homes sold out 71 units, over $2.5 million homes. So there is a marketplace for those estate lots as well. And in these new condos, we are insisting that these builders have a level of affordability. Right across the street here at Tribute Communities, there's 14 Habitat for Humanity going in that building. So homeownership is going to be a real opportunity for 14 families in a building which traditionally they wouldn't be able to afford. So we have to do more of that. And up on Brock Road by the old Seton Golf Course, now called Pickering Golf Club, there's Trillium Housing, so there's different options for housing. So we have to be creative. Mm-hmm. The government has talked about they give us some money because of us meeting our housing targets. So we're spending that on renewal of our infrastructure. But development charges, we got to do something about that because a development charge is typically $100,000 per unit, and that's right to the bottom line. So
One of the questions that came up was in Seton, there's a lot of issues with the cell phone reception.
yeah.
Any comment on that, or you guys, the city is aware of what's happening?
We're aware of it, and the government's committed, both federal and provincial government, is committed to renewing that infrastructure. People sometimes would think, cell phone, what's the big deal? Well, it is a big deal.
It is a huge deal.
Internet, with people working at home, with kids schooling at home, it's as important. I really think the internet's a basic right now because we have the need to have commerce. We have need for social interaction. We saw that during COVID. So we have to do more. I think the presence of these commercial buildings up there will have an opportunity for more towers as well. I think a lot of the new communities as well are going to be doing with fiber. And get buried as opposed to the need to have towers. So I no immediate solutions, but certainly longer term. And I think it's important that we're mindful of that because the internet's very, very important for our residents, both young kids.
For anyone at this point.
For schooling and for seniors, for connectivity, as well people that are doing hybrid, they're working from home. So it's important that we make those investments in that infrastructure.
Where do you see Pickering in 10 years from now?
Well, in 10 years, we'll be probably grown 30 to 40% along Kingston Road. That corridor will have many more condos. Again, we need the transit system to support that. We'll have Seton building out. We've now got approval for Northeast Pickering for a new community called Varane, which will probably start in 5 to 7 years. So, and I think in the next 5 years or so, we'll have a decision from the federal government, whatever party it is, about an airport in Pickering, either yes or no, or there's 9,600 acres of land that's been sitting idle there for 50 years. And I think it's time, once and for all, to make a decision if we're going to have some type of airport or not. And if it's or not, let's, can we make that part of commerce, or can we make that part of the environment, or look at the opportunities for that? So I really
It
think
has to be used for some.
yeah, right now our hamlets up there have become ghost towns. Mount Zion and Brome, it's Greenwood. Those places have been neglected by the federal government, who own those lands, by all parties. I'm not trying to be partisan here at all, but we need a decision about those lands. That's why Seaton was a provincial government. It sat idle for 45 years. Now it's starting to boom. The federal government's land holdings, which is 9,600 acres, we need a decision. Biggest landowner in Pickering is the federal government. Second biggest landowner in Pickering is the provincial government.
So they own pretty much most of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. How are you going to continue to support Pickering? If one day I'm sure you want to take some time off from your commitment to the community. How do you see yourself staying active in community, and what do you have in plan?
Well, my intent is to run for re-election in 2 years. I'll be 64, and the terms are 4 years, so at 68 I'd reevaluate that decision. I left a very lucrative job in the private sector to become mayor, and I'm not asking for any sympathy at all, because I love my job, and
commitment.
And I am delighted that I was honored to become the 5th mayor. But I'll always be involved in our community, if it's an elected position or not. And one of the things that I'm really, really excited about is the prospect of a rehab hospital. It's a rehab hospital, but it's going to be state of the art. It'll relieve some of the burden in our existing acute care hospitals. There's so many people in our acute care hospitals that really shouldn't be in acute care. They should be in a rehab, and the government's made some plans to do that.
What's the time frame on those?
Well, I think they're ready to go. I'm having monthly meetings about those plans. I have another meeting next week about it. So I expect we'll have some decisions in maybe Q2 this year, and start the fundraising and the planning for it. There's also under construction currently new long-term care called Seaton Village. We need people to age at home, and when they can't, we need a place for our seniors to live in dignity. We also have Jerry Coughlin Center, Health Center, which is on Brock Road, kind of a state-of-the-art facility that's being run by Lake Ridge, and also some doctors. We expect to have ambulatory care there as well this year. So when you go to Ajax Pickering, there's a 5-hour wait. We need to do better.
So how this is going to be, what kind of service? Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Do you mind comment to the audience what kind of service is going to be?
Yeah, if it's not an acute, heart attack or something, sick child or something, often the absence of a family doctor puts kids and families at emergency wards. And this will be a diversion from the hospitals to a more efficient, quicker way to deal with it, less urgent, less acute types of illnesses. So Jerry Coughlin is going to be one of them. They're doing outpatient surgery now, state of the art.
Oh, wow.
There's better equipment at Jerry Coughlin than there is at Ajax Pickering Hospital. So that's important. And I mentioned Seaton Village, the long-term care. It's it's under construction now. Is delighted to be there with the Minister of Long-Term Care for the groundbreaking. So we need healthcare options here in Pickering and right across the region. So this is a growing region. They've announced plans for a new regional hospital in Whitby, just across the border from Pickering and on Highway 23.
That almost falls into closer to North Pickering as
yes,
well.
That's right. They're looking at, they're currently doing an expansion of Bowmanville Hospital. There'll be some improvements in infrastructure renewal at Ajax Pickering Hospital as well as Oshawa. So there's lots going on.
So it's not just in Pickering, it's happening all over Durham
Lake Ridge
region.
is a regional partner, and Lake Ridge Health, and I'm very supportive of that.
Can we comment about something about the transit, what's in works or what something is coming up to solve the transit issues or traffic issues?
The government actually, as recently as, I think it was today, it might have been yesterday, announced the expansion of GO Train in other parts of the province. The GO Train is the backbone of our transit system here
Absolutely.
in Durham. But we need a connection between Durham and TTC rather than just the GO Train. And I think there's going to be opportunities. Eglinton Crosstown, Finch Crosstown, a new Scarborough subway are all going to be options for people in Pickering going to downtown. We need a transit system that works for people. Typically, it's only been to get to a GO Train or get to the University in Oshawa. We need it to be an option for people to do their shopping, to get to their place of work. And the other thing is, the GO Train needs to be more. It's got to be like a subway. I'd like to get to the point where you don't look at a schedule. You just show up and
Just
there's a train in
get
5 minutes or 7 minutes like the subway, instead of every 20 minutes, every half hour, every hour. So I think we have to get to that point. And with the electrification of that line, that will probably happen over the next decade. And I'm excited about that.
Amazing.
In addition to transit, is the need for roads expansion. So the government's already committed to widening the 401. I talked earlier about widening Taunton and Steele's connection. Yeah. The government's also announced that they're going to be widening Highway 7 from Brock Road to Reeser Road. Highway 7 is the busiest two-way highway in all of Canada. And it's run through Pickering. So there is a need there. Certainly when we're having an expansion of the employment base up there, having a twinning of Highway 7, I think is fantastic and much needed. And the government's really stepped up to the plate in regards to that. Kingston Road, the first rapid bus lanes are going to be here in Pickering. We're the kind of the guinea pig, so I'm excited about that as well. Not without its growing pains, because construction sometimes ties up. But once we get through that, I think it'll add an element to quick buses, and it's a real option for
So it's going to move into the center lanes?
Eventually. First one is the rapid bus lanes on the outside, okay. And then similar to how they do it in Highway 7 in York, in the middle.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Looking forward to it. So a lot of great things happening, Kevin, and we'd like to thank you on behalf of all the Pickering residents for the amount of commitment and support you do for Pickering, and also thank you for being here and thank you for spending an hour with us to talk about what the Pickering is going to be.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity in chatting. I invite people to reach out to me. I'm on all social medias, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. I can be reached at mayor@pickering.ca. Have any concerns about any things in the city, customer care at pickering.ca. We have a new refreshed website as well, new modern. I invite people to go to pickering.ca to look at it and reach out to me. I'm try to be accessible. I go to a lot of events. Yeah. I love my city. I love talking about it, and I love when people come up and tell me how they're feeling about the good or the bad. You
need to know both.
I want to know both, because if I don't know what's bothering them, I don't know what to fix.
What to fix, exactly. Yeah. Kev, it's a pleasure. Thank you for your time again.
Thank you.
Perfect. Appreciate it.
Cheers.